Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your November 2024 general tarot reading. It's Rena here. That sound you hear is me shuffling behind the scenes here. Shuffling is a very exaggerated expression because this is how I do it. That's about the extent of it. So anyway, I'm a sun in Sagittarius, so this is always fun for me. Okay, if I get 3 cards and they're all reversed, then oh, these came out together. Okay, that's not going to happen. No, I felt like going here. If I pull cards out together, then they are in the same position. This deck is very hard to lift up. Okay, here's another. I'm picking additional kind of, there's just certain cards in. And I could actually tell you the truth. Okay. I'm gonna pick one more. What the heck? 4 of Wands. Sometimes these cards are hard to read because they're not like traditional tarot cards, but I do love the artistry. So I'm gonna put these last 3 cards to the side here because I want you to be able to see the other cards and not have it blocked. Okay, well, let's see what we've got here. And remember, this is in Scorpio season, and when the sun is in the 12th house, it's a house of secret enemies. And, sometimes there can be secrets and things behind the scenes. And I'm getting that vibe, and it's not something that I just like to kind of highlight. So I kept picking cards and I was like, okay. And actually, yeah, I picked this card. That was the first card I picked. Now, I did pick it reverse, so I'm just going to hold it upright. Okay. So the moon card in the upright position is a card that is connected to Pisces, for signs. Cancer is, in astrology, is ruled by the moon. So sometimes I'll say that as well. But also, we can look at timing cards like, when does everything seem to heat up? And we do have a very powerful full moon mid-month. That's going to be in Taurus, like at 24 degrees of Taurus. For me, this is going to be in conjunction with my sun. I have Taurus rising, but it's in my 12th house, not in the first house, because I'm a very late degree. I'm a 26 degree Taurus rising. So I'm just going to put it upright, but it's a reverse card. When we pick the moon card upright, it's a card of, feeling as if something is not being said or that there are half-truths. And this can be like for a Sag, especially if you have like inner planets in Scorpio, which is a sign adjacent to Sag. Maybe you have Mercury in Scorpio. Or maybe, like me, you have the sun in the 8th house. Something that is scorpionic. You could feel like there's something going on here. What's going on here? Why am I feeling this? Am I just crazy? And actually, this even gets heightened during the time when the sun, which is such a powerful life force energy, is in that 12th house, beginning in right now, as I record this in late October, we are officially in Scorpio season. So the sun is in this area, and it's kind of like, it's like a flashlight in the basement or the attic, and it's kind of, shining a light on things that are maybe being shoved under the rug or that we don't normally see during daylight hours. And The sun, or the sun, the moon represents, I mean, even, like upright, the moon itself represents delusion, illusion, deception. So it could be coming from somebody else, but, that's what delusion or even illusion can be self-induced. That's, the moon can represent creativity. It can represent spirituality. So when it's reversed, I feel, this is my interpretation of the reverse card, is that it is a time when you're like shaking free of those kinds of constraints of delusion, where you are fully embracing the truth and you're not willing to live in the lies. And what I was trying to say about why it's powerful is that Uranus is going to be in conjunction with it. Uranus is currently retrograding in Taurus and will be at a close degree at that time. And so that can be such a sudden decision that you make, and it's based on emotions. It's based on what is coming up for you. And, the house that's falling in for Sagittarius is the sixth house of health. However, because it is, if you're watching this for your sun sign, your rising sign is really what you need to pay attention to. I just said my rising sign is 26 degrees of Taurus, so this is falling in my 12th house, and that's more for the predictive part of things than the sun sign. So definitely check that out, see where it's falling, because it could be a game changer for you. It's mid-month. And yeah, so I'm just going to leave that there. Because, the truth will set you free. In the past position, we have the Ace of Cups. I did pick 2 cards to represent the past. Ace of Cups, new beginnings in love, new creative endeavors, and Nine of Wands. This is a card of boundaries. And this is, if you have met somebody recently that you're dating, and, those 2 cards together suggest new love coming into the picture, but also perhaps some kind of boundaries that you're setting that you did set that are based on maybe a negative situation that you had to endure. And while that is perfectly a good situation or a good decision to do, sometimes this can indicate that a person has been rather jaded and they're just kind of trying to make themselves feel safe, because the moon card could be like really that kind of feel. That's why I'm saying it could be like if this is someone that you've been dating and you try to like do some kind of safe, what are they called, safeguards, to make sure that you wouldn't be cheated on or lied to. There still could be something that slipped through the cracks, and that can be really problematic, emotional for you, because you might feel this sense of betrayal. And that's, and I did get the betrayal card. I got the 10 of Swords. So, again, full moons bring up drama, and we can stay above the fray, because you know what? Even if it takes a lot of relationships that you have to go through till you find the right one, it's worth it in the end. It's worth being with the person that you're meant to be with. The higher message is the Son of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a card that's connected to Taurus, and like in general, oh yeah, and it's funny because I was just like looking at in terms of relationship, but this could easily be in terms of like job related matters, especially so. Oh yeah, and that full moon is falling in that job sector, so it might be somebody who walks off the job just and wasn't even planning on doing it, just does it like suddenly because maybe they just had enough. So the Knight of Pentacles as the spiritual message is like the person who has a great work ethic. So one way of looking at it is if you've had any kind of like drama behind the scenes, and maybe you can't put your finger on it, but you know that your coworkers are treating you funny, all of this is going on, and maybe you've seen this before in your life where people kind of like start acting differently towards you. That's always a horrible feeling. But you've been there, done that, and you're like, okay, well, there's probably something that is going to happen. The other shoe's about to drop. Okay, whatever. You still do a good job. You don't mail it in. You don't ever give anyone justification for doing what they're doing. Because if someone starts to kind of come in late and do a half-assed job, then the management feels perfectly fine in firing them because they feel like they're incompetent or whatever anyway. But if you feel like you've been doing a stellar job, you keep doing a stellar job. Also, I also always think of this card as like losing yourself in the routine of work. For Sagittarius, having a 9-to-5 job, if that's your reality, of course, but having a job can be a mixed bag because Sagittarius tend to be very freedom loving and you don't necessarily want to do the same old every day. Some people do want to have that comforting ritual. And it actually benefits their life. Everybody's different, and even within fire signs, some fire signs may like that. But if for some reason that has been not the easiest thing for you, it may turn out to be in this period of transition where you may be leaving one situation for another where you've had enough humiliation or negative treatment and you're ready to move on. And same thing applies to if you have started a relationship with someone and you're already getting some kind of weird vibes, then it makes a lot of sense that you should be on high alert. And the Son of Pentacles, like I said, is the Knight of Pentacles. And that can, since it's connected to Taurus, the Taurus energy is a rock. It's a fixed earth sign, tell me anything that sounds more like a rock than that. And the bottom line is that if you value relationships that are like that, you're going to find that that is the kind of guarantee that you have. Like, there's no guarantees in life, but if you cultivate relationships that are more grounded than, oh wow, this is such an exciting relationship, I can never guess what this person's going to do next, and you act like that's a good thing, that isn't necessarily a good thing, and that could be a drama-filled relationship. So it might be like saying, have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about cultivating that type of relationship that's more calm? And the card that crosses you is the Daughter of Wands, which is the Page of Wands. This can be a card of good news, communication that's positive, and starting projects that are passion projects for you, or thinking them up. I think for some creative types of people, this could be a period of time since the moon is upside down that you don't feel necessarily as creative in an outward way. That doesn't mean that you're not. And by the way, Mercury is going retrograde in our sign in November, so that may also, because it'll be in its shadow period during, a good portion of this month. So it can make you maybe a lot more introspective, not necessarily as outwardly interested in communicating, because the sun is in the 12th house. You may be more subdued. And so that Page of Wands may reflect that. It's like it's not really a time when you feel like starting a new project, but rather tying up loose ends. And so what's coming in, well, we have the Judgment card, but it was like in the reversed position. I'm going to just keep it up right here. The Judgment card reversed can be a lack of judgment towards some kind of matter. And I feel that if this happens, it's going to be because it's not going to necessarily be for people who are listening to this, because the fact that I'm touching upon these issues is going to automatically make you more conscious of them if they show up in your life. But for Sagittarians in general, there could be this emotional reaction that causes the person to do something that is counterproductive. And it could be fear-based. It could be, like I said, the central theme was the Moon card reversed. So it's like your emotions are turned upside down. And this can be due to another person. This can be due to an event that takes place that makes you feel like you're caught off guard, especially with Uranus retrograde. It could be some kind of surprise that ending, so that you feel like, wow, I didn't see that coming. Of course, later on, you probably will, because you'll probably think, oh, wow, there was paranoia in the workplace. There was this, there was that. Maybe you didn't want to face it, that was a probability, but you probably at a deeper level could tell that something was not quite right. So anyway, I want to talk about all these outcome cards. The first one is the Son of Swords, which is the Knight of Swords. This can be documenting things. Why would you document? Well, if this is a workplace matter and you know that something has been done to you that is illegal, or within I'm not talking about the law itself, but within the company's regulations, that protocol was not given to you, you might jot some notes because you feel like that's going to come in handy later. And by the way, Jupiter is in the 7th house for Sagittarius, the house of committed partnerships, but also legal matters. So it is retrograding, but I still think that there can be some protection, even retrograding, with legal matters. And you may have to provide proof of something, and that's just what you're doing. But I just didn't want to end on that note. So I picked a few more cards, and the next card I got was the Ten of Swords, so I had to pick another card, yet another card. I love that sword through the eyes, that's just like, really illustrates the brutality of it. So the outcome cards, the first one is the Ten of Swords. This is a card of betrayal. Something can happen that makes you aware of a betrayal that took place. Or it could be that it's finally sinking in. Maybe you were told this alternative narrative, and then you put two and two together and you go, this isn't something that they actually did screw me over. And that it's really important for you to understand this, because it can be that this is something that you were actually deceived about. And maybe it's just finally sinking in, but it can be that this is the beginning of the end of a negative period in your life. Daughter of Cups, reversed. I'll hold it upright. This is the Page of Cups. This can be a card of, when it's upright, can be a card of gullibility, of believing what you are told, and then finding out otherwise, that you were lied to. But when it's reversed, it's like you're being able to see exactly how you were fooled. And while it can be a little bit humbling, it can ultimately be for the best, because then you realize that, yeah, these people really are sleazebags. Or this person that I was dating is a sleazebag, because they presented themselves as this, potential love mate. And it really didn't turn out that way at all. And the Four of Wands. Very interesting, because this is a card that can be of new homes, happy homes. I feel like this is like a card that really speaks to people who may have allowed their job they've taken their job home with them. And maybe if they're not working there anymore, their family life is going to improve. But it might be like this is a card of, separate to everything else, of a new home. This is new home energy. And you did have a Pisces lunar eclipse here back in September. So that may have kind of been a breakthrough, kind of made the way for events to conspire in your favor if you've been looking for properties or something like that. So that's what I have for you, Sag. I hope that this resonated in some way. If you'd like a private reading, I'm promoting my astrology readings because I do way more of them than I do of tarot, but I do private tarot readings as well. I have a special package deal called my deep dive readings, an hour of natal chart analysis and an hour of transits through the end of 2025 for a special price. I have another version with that and the tarot with the transits in the tarot, and then I have one with all three called the whole enchilada. You can find out more information about those readings, my love readings, my career readings at the link below. Thanks for watching. Bye.